Hey friends, welcome into another edition of 4 Minutes on Friday. Wanted to talk about something. This is an ancient piece of literature that has been meaningful to me. It continues to show up in my life as a really important guide. It's actually out of the Bible, the book of Psalms. It's the first chapter of Psalms, and it's the very first verse says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers." That little progression of where we walk, where we stand, and where we sit is, I think, incredibly important. It is a super. I think it's a super good exercise um, on how you're living your life, whom you are spending time with, who gets your time, and the influence that those interactions and relationships have. I've talked about this before with we are the average of the five people we spend the most time with. That was a study from Harvard, longest ongoing study, and still, I believe it's still ongoing right now, and about relationships. And this psalm, this ancient piece of wisdom, I think is incredibly important, that we need to be purposeful about where we are walking, where we are standing, where we are sitting. All of those, all of those activities, um, especially in the ancient world. A lot of times we take an ancient piece of literature from a time that is historically a long time ago, with a people that we don't really know, in a place that we've probably, most of us have never been, and we sometimes disconnect from the communal nature that is inherent in the biblical time. We're much more, especially in America, individualistic. And so we hear about things where we stand, sit, and walk, and we think of, largely, we would probably think of that in terms of, well, this is where I work, or even where I play. Um, for the context and the time in which that piece of scripture is written, and really the whole of scripture, is much more of a communal time where people spent more time together. They didn't spend time alone in the same fashion or with the same frequency that we do. So when the psalmist writes about where you stand, where you sit, and where you walk, he is talking about the daily interaction, not always the purposeful interaction of work or play, or bartering or exchange or anything like that. But he's also talking about the casual experiences of whom we are spending time with. So I guess my encouragement to you this morning is, and again, I don't think this is easy. I think self-reflection and self-evaluation, I think, is a very difficult thing to do, because if we're going to do it well, and we're going to do it with any effectiveness in our lives, we have to be honest about that. And we're not always good about being honest. I think we're much better at kind of pretending that everything is fine. Just look at the duck on the top of the water. Don't look at how furiously his feet are paddling underneath. We are really good at creating this serene picture, a facade. And we are not very good about being honest about what's going on underneath. And a lot of times, what is going on underneath is a reflection and a connection to whom we are spending time with. Who is it that is getting our time? Who is it that we are leaning into? Who are we sitting and standing and walking with? Encourage you for a little bit of self-reflection today. We'll see you next week.